Hey, Patrick here. I'm a PhD student at Oxford, and I got a couple of questions on my YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram about how I got here, why I'm doing a PhD, why science, and why I worked in finance in between a master's and PhD. So there's loads of stories to tell, and I really hope that you stick with me until the very end of the PhD journey. Welcome to Storytime. It'll be a bit of a chatty one as always, so just grab yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee, and let's talk about how I transitioned from bottom of class to PhD. Let's start with my secondary school experience. So my parents made this really nice Excel sheet of all my school years. And so you can see all the subjects that I had, just focusing on primary and secondary school in this case here, and the grades that I got for each subject in each half year. So just for point of reference, I was in the German school in London, and the grading system in a German system is from 1 to 6, where 1 is the highest, so that's an A equivalent, and 6 is a fail. Excel sheet has a very nice heat map to it. If you have good grades, it'll be green. Otherwise, it'll be this warm patch of colors here. And so you can see that for most of my secondary school, Korea, a couple of exceptions here and there, it's very nice, warm, and cozy. So I go from bad to worse. And I had 2 E's here. It's a little bit too close to a failure, but I managed to pick things up again in the very last year of secondary school. So the question is, what on earth did I do to consistently aim for the bottom half of the class? So I never really understood the meaning of school and why I wanted to study. Many concepts in school that you get taught, frankly, you just never use them in your life anyway. So at the time I thought, why do I need this? I don't need to learn this. And so ultimately there was no intrinsic motivation for me to pick up these textbooks and actually study. As you progress through school, naturally the content gets more advanced. My dad always said to me that if you don't fundamentally understand the building blocks of any given subject, you'll definitely struggle later on. So you need to build the foundation. And I didn't understand this advice at the time, and I didn't appreciate it as well. So I struggled a lot in school, didn't bother to improve, let alone try to actually understand why I'm struggling in the first place. But my coping mechanism was playing the PS3 all day long, every single day. And that's not even slightly exaggerating it, because I loved it. I was addicted to it. And to the point where I didn't do anything else, not even sports. I was very chubby at the time, so maybe in the editing I'll include a picture or two. And I didn't study. It's almost like I had zero curiosity as a kid. Very weird. But most importantly, my coping mechanism made me feel happy, I was comfortable, and school did not. I think in general, if you're so used to your coping mechanisms to any given situation, you'll never realize it until one day it clicks and you're on the other side of the fence. But how do you get to the other side of the fence? Hey Vsauce, Michael here. Speaking metaphorically, if you're looking to climb over this fence all alone, it probably requires a ridiculous amount of effort from your side. But if you have, the right environment, the right people who share the same mindset, the same ambitions and goals for the future, climbing over this fence is suddenly a lot easier. So at the time, I didn't even know that a fence existed in the first place. But things changed in year 9. And it wasn't because I woke up one day and suddenly thought like, oh crap, what am I doing? It was very low key and very slow. So one day, a couple of friends of mine, we talked about changing schools and why we should go to an English system when we are already in England, and how it may be better when we apply to a uni in England from an English school. So I thought, geez, that is a tectonic shift. New school, new teachers, new friends, new system, new subjects, and all of this in English. And that's when I realized there's a fence, it exists. And that's when I realized that this is what I needed. A chance to start from scratch. You don't have this kind of fresh opportunity very often in life, but when you do, think about it really hard and see if it's worth the risk, especially if you have absolutely nothing to lose. So I picked up the textbooks and started studying just a little bit more than before. And with a friend of mine, we joined a nearby gym and followed a vigorous training program to lift weights from a guy called Greg Plitt. He was part of the US Army, and he was also a fitness model. But Greg was very different. He was very different because of his mentality, his way of thinking, his drive, his motivation, and his teachings, and always showing up and always trying your best no matter what. And that was truly unmatched. And his mentality built into my system over time.
Yeah, the bars are always open, always open. No matter how old you are, they're always open, What's not always open is the opportunity to to check the box in life, you know, to achieve your dreams. That's not always open, man.
One by one, I started to study a little bit more, exercise more, and play video games less. It was a new routine and I really enjoyed this. And you know, I love pushing myself really hard in the gym because I could see the transformation in real time with a good friend of mine. And studying in school was similar. I began to understand things better in class and I was able to follow the content in class a lot better than previously. And so studying for school subjects was suddenly not as bad as I previously thought it was going to be. So it was a new lifestyle and new routine that I adopted at the age of around 15 or 16. At this point, I wasn't that organized yet, but when I started sixth form, that was a game changer. The school was a lot more disciplined. There were lots of competitions in school. Teachers were very good. They were very supportive. You could actually choose the subjects that you wanted to study. And people started talking about unis. But this time around, they talked about targeting the top unis in the countries. And unis like Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, etc., they suddenly came into the conversation and never had I had this conversation previously. My new lifestyle in this new environment put things into overdrive. I loved knowing more about a particular subject that I was taught in school, and so I wanted to study more to understand it better, and so I did this consistently. But that's also when I realized that I needed to manage my time well, and so I needed a timetable for myself. And that's when I started becoming organized. I structured my day from morning until evening with slots for gym, revision, classes, and other extracurricular activities. The end of GCSEs through sixth form were really transformational for me. And to this day, I continue to be as organized as I can and do the things that I really enjoy doing. I enjoy the sciences because to me, it's the most logical way to explain fundamental things that happen to us humans, the world, the universe, etc. It really fascinates me. Today, I'm a PhD student at Oxford because I want to continue exploring these fundamental things in life. Looking back, I really do think that if you had the right opportunity at the right time in the right environment, change is inevitable. If right now you're struggling with motivation or finding a way forwards, from my experience, it's because you haven't found the thing that makes you tick. If you fall into this category and are still watching this video, welcome to the fence. All you need to do now is figure out how to climb over it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.